Hi guys. So before we get started, it has been a little bit since I've been on here, and it was a little bit before that too. My phone has been doing this I don't have a SIM card thing and not working right. I realized yesterday that I could actually use the Wi-Fi at the park, which still is hard to do, but my vehicle also broke down, and so I've been walking everywhere. And someone I know got set up for something. So it's been a long couple weeks and a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, today we are going to focus on some positive shit, and we are going to discuss what makes you so beautiful. What is it about you that is amazing? So that we can get some nice positivity into all of our energy at this time, especially if you're dealing with a lot of chaos or drama in your life. So let's see, what makes you so beautiful? And thank you guys so much for whatever support you send this way. Likes, shares, subscribes, donations, purchases, everything that you guys do to support me in this channel. It really helps me out. And especially at this time, it will really help me to be able to get back on my feet, because pretty much every way I make money has been unavailable to me the last couple weeks. So, and there's a lot of things that I got to take care of over the next week or two as well. But thank you guys for that. Really appreciate you. Appreciate the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscribes as well. All of that stuff really helps me out too. So, we have peace. Why you are so beautiful. Peace. You definitely could be extremely peaceful in your sleep. You could be kind of angelic in your sleep. Extremely beautiful when you are at peace as well. You may meditate too, and people may really love to watch you meditate. You may almost glow when you're meditating. Dreamtime lover. So somebody may see you in their sleep as well. Somebody may dream about you a lot, or you may have had some dreams about someone in particular. And this person could be one of the people that sees you as so beautiful. Awake or asleep. So it's not just asleep that they find you to be beautiful and peaceful and amazing. It's not just in their dreams, but in real life, you are actually very amazing as well. When you're awake and when you're speaking and when you are just being yourself, I feel like people love how naked you are, how open you are, how refreshing you are, because you're extremely natural in the way that you handle things. 333, you're extremely protected as well. I feel like you are very protected. There are a lot of people who see you as a very beautiful soul. So there may be a lot of people who have your back in certain circumstances, 344, or want to protect you in certain circumstances. There may also be a lot of people that find the spiritual protection that you have to be something that's very beautiful as well. There may be one or two people who have hurt you in the past because of their jealousy that have actually turned a new leaf around and have been working up the courage to express certain things to you because they want to be able to make amends. Remember, guys, to support this channel while you're here as well. It really helps me out. Liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, leaving donations, making purchases. All of that stuff helps me so much. Thank you for that too. A dream is a wish your heart makes, one step at a time. A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. In a dream you will lose your heartache. Whatever you wish for, you keep. So you may be somebody who really takes the spotlight with your creations or your creative expressions, with the way that you paint or the way that you draw, with photography possibly, video making as well. the things that you choose to express is something that people find to be very beautiful. The way that you put emotions so deeply into everything that you do, the way that you are with animals as well, how blessed you are, or your belief in something beautiful coming your way, and just taking everything one step at a time and being able to climb your way up to the top, even if it's a very slow progression to get there. PART. Why? Because I gotta. So a lot of you are people who stand up for your right to be able to experience life and have fun and enjoyment. These days, they pretty much want you to work every second until you die and to never do anything that isn't exactly by the book. They pretty much want you to force yourself to work yourself into an early grave and still not even be able to support yourself or provide for yourself or your family. And you're somebody who rebels very strongly against this system. 633, Aquarius. What makes you beautiful? The way that you give your love to people, the way that you pour emotions on people. 42, 44 as well. You are somebody that really gives a lot. You see a lot. You know a lot as well. I feel like you think very outside of the box. You have a lot of new ideas, thoughts, understandings. I feel like you shift a lot of people's perspectives as well. 11. 707. The new beginnings that you have in your life. Anytime there's something that goes wrong or something that falls apart in your life, everybody is so inspired by how divinely guided you seem to be. You are a very protected person, but at the same time, you have had a lot of really harsh things happen in your life. You've had a lot of experiences that were just very hard or painful or took a lot out of you. But at the end of the day, 733, you are able to get up and you are able to take care of business when you need to. You are able to lift yourself back up out of those holes, even with very limited resources, support, or help at times. I also feel like there's been a lot of newer incoming help for you as well. 755, 5511. Even after everything you've been through, you are still able to find the ability to be able to trust people again and to be able to open up to new ideas or new ways of being as well. Plus, there is a lot of people who feel like you really do see the best in people, even when people have not acted in the best light. People also find you to be extremely beautiful when you are expressing your more vulnerable emotions. When you're brought to tears, the things that you feel sad about, the things that you hurt over. 842. The way you express your pain, the way you feel your pain, and the certain types of pain that you feel is something that people feel is very beautiful. 855. You may be somebody whose heart bleeds very much so for animals when they're being abused, or for people's childhood and what they've went through. And you also use artistic expression to heal those things and work through those things. Once again, with the peaceful when you're sleeping and peaceful when you're meditating and just the calm energy that you have. You're a very calming person, a very soothing person, a very loving person. And also I feel like you help others to find that calm energy within themselves when they're going through hardship. When people are trying to burn you, or when people are trying to sabotage you, or when people are trying to like burn you at the stake or put you on the cross, or when people are trying to sacrifice you in some way or trying to destroy your life in some way. 955. You are somebody that is just still very peaceful, very calm. You deal with it very well. And you are very much center stage and in the spotlight while this is going on as well. There's a lot of people watching you. A lot of people notice you and appreciate the way that you're handling the situations you're handling at this moment. And it really inspires them to be able to take care of the things in their life with as much integrity and dignity as you do as well. You are very much so a leader, meant to be seen, meant to be heard, meant to be in the spotlight. And they also know, 1033, that you have been through so fucking much it's ridiculous. Because that is why you are able to handle everything that you're handling in this current moment that is falling apart in your life all around you with so much peace and enjoyment, with joy, integrity, dignity. 1055. Even while the ship is sinking, you're still at peace. You could be facing death head on and you would still be at peace. 11, 11, 11. You're very aligned with your purpose, with your path, with your destiny. You are very much so exactly where you're meant to be and you know it. 1122. The sun is shining in your world even when the boat's sinking, and that's because you know, not gonna drown in the water, 'cause the good Lord ain't bring me home. The chaos, confusion, drama, hurt, the pain that you go through, at the end of the day, this is what brings you that level up. This is what brings you that new beginning, that new birth. Your heart has been through so much. You have experienced so much. You have seen so much. And you have no problem admitting when you're confused or when you're unsure of whether or not a situation is exactly what you think it is. You are not ashamed of feeling like you need proof in certain situations to be able to express what you have to say about it. 222. Because you know that there are times, especially when you're anxious or when you have a lot of fear going on within you, 1233, or when you're working through a lot of PTSD, where your intuition may not be fully accurate. And that doesn't make you any less of a person or any less of a spiritual leader or any less of a good human being. It doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't make you naive. It means that you weren't necessarily meant to know exactly what was going on in that situation at that time, because there were things that you had to go through that you may not have gone through if you would have known what was coming. And sometimes you do choose to go through some of those things, even though you know what's coming, simply because you know that's exactly where you're meant to be. That is the right place for you in that time. And you know that there is a reason for it. Even if you don't know the exact reason for it, you're still willing to be that person and to go through those experiences with those certain people in your life because you feel like it's important for you to be there, especially when it comes to the healing or perspectives of others that you're meant to work with at that time or be around at that time. Yeah, the pain you feel in certain circumstances is definitely something that people find to be extremely attractive and beautiful about you. You could be somebody as well who has a tendency to fight for children, to fight for animals, to fight for the little guy, to stand up for those who are more vulnerable than yourself. You also have a tendency to be able to see through people's masks or to understand what's going on in certain situations. Good morning, beautiful. Thank you, sweetheart. It is a fairly good day today. There has been so much fucking chaos and drama going on over here that it is ridiculous. Phone not working most of the time. Car broke down. 33. My man's been dealing with a lot too. And dealing with a lot with him too. Lords. Diary. Dairy. milk, martyr, soap, par, party, wrap, late, rate, safe, safety, sale, duty, myriad. You may have a lot of options too. Soap opera, rotary, malt, map, RIP, sore, sword, must, rust, dusty, past, pale, oil, trust, trip, mist, misty, list, wrist, risky. You don't mind being in risky situations or positions. You are put in them a lot. The universe kind of conspires to stick you in a lot of risky situations or situations where there's very hefty consequences depending on which direction you choose to go. Wow. That is extremely loud. This is exactly how it's been lately. Every time I turn around. But then again, it's been like this for 3.5 years. Except it just got extremely worse at the beginning of this year, 11/44. Because I finally started being able to come up a little bit. Finally started being able to make some money. Finally started being able to take care of some things. And you know, they got to keep me looking crazy, right? Can't have anybody actually believing the things that I know about that are going on in this place. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate it so much. Were you asking a question today too? Oh, there it is. Woo-hoo. Oh, 2 questions. Jazz. You could really love jazz music too, or blues music. The sky is crying. Can't you see tears roll down the street? Yeah, the Lords of War is coming into mind right now too. Vampire. There was somebody recently that I was like, yeah, he looks a lot better than he did last time I seen him too. Although, is that because he's actually getting better, 33, 44? Or is that because he's feeding off of her? And there's plenty of women that do that too. It's an equal opportunity entity when it comes to people doing things like that. And what being an energetic vampire basically is, that's somebody that's not taking care of themselves. It's somebody that is low on energy because they aren't sleeping enough or because they are overindulging in too many things that just are not good for them. Nothing's bad in moderation, but when you start overindulging, it kind of takes things over. It's somebody that hasn't healed their past yet. Not necessarily that they aren't working on it. And a lot of those people don't even really know how to take care of themselves. And a lot of those people are just very codependent because that's what they've been groomed to be throughout their life. Or a lot of those people are dealing with a lot of other people that are busy hurting them constantly, taking from them constantly, and they're taking it out on other people that are less important to them. Things like that. So, you know, you may be very good at spotting those people, but you may also be very good at being around those people and it not hurting or harming your energy, being able to lift people up, being able to pull them out of that, being able to help them see where they're going, what they're doing in their life that's bringing them down or that's hurting everyone around them. Because a lot of people that are hurting everyone around them, they really are not liking that energy. A lot of those people aren't. Some of them, yes. Some of them, no. 44 again, too. I will give you a bit to think of that second question. I'm probably going to be on here for about another half hour. My battery is at about half right now. It sucks it up pretty quickly on these videos sometimes. So just make sure you get it in before then. Butterfly. You're very different, very beautiful, unique. You light up the world and you transform. You transform situations, you transform people. I feel like you're one of those extremely rare people who actually can actually change and shift the people that are in very narcissistic energy. I'm not talking about narcissistic personality disorder, which is only 2% of the population. So chances are, if you've dealt with a narcissist before, they do not have narcissistic personality disorder. Some of them, maybe, sure. But only 2% of the population has that. So think about 2% of a town with a population of 3,000. 2% of that isn't going to be very many of those people. Anyway, you are somebody who can actually get in there and get people to think about how others feel when they're interacting with them and get them to realize that that might be how people are treating them in their own life and how to set those boundaries effectively so that they aren't taking it out on other people. And also you help them to be able to still see and appreciate the good things about those people who have been hurting them too. Even if they can't keep them in their lives, or even if they have to put their foot down and tell them that they can't treat them like that anymore. And that is really what brings those people out of that. And yeah, I know everybody's like, oh, it's not your responsibility to raise people. 22, 22, and 44. All on my screen at the same time. Yes, it is. It takes a community to raise people, to raise children. And you know, a lot of children are never fully raised by the time they hit adulthood, especially if they had a single parent household and that single parent spent all their time working because they didn't have any help from anybody else. So how do you expect those people to learn those things unless they're taught those things? And if their parents didn't teach them those things, they can't know those things. Those things like empathy. You are taught empathy. Whether we like to believe it or not, we're taught empathy. We are taught to think about other people and to look at things from their shoes. Or we are taught to attack them before they attack us. Or we're taught that only our feelings matter. Some households teach things differently. And sometimes it takes people a long time to find out that that is actually hurting them more than it's even hurting the people that they're hurting. Because they spend their whole life alone and miserable, pushing everybody away, and never having anybody that they can truly connect to because they don't think about those people and they don't truly care about those people or put effort into those people. So they can't understand why those people don't want to put effort into them either, and all of them walk away from them. Or vice versa. They end up walking away from so many people all the time because they don't really give a shit about their feelings. But then all of a sudden, they get woken up to feelings. Because all of a sudden, they actually allow their own feelings to surface. And things like that. And you know what? Moonlitic, I think that whole portion right there was pulling off your energy too. So really look at that, and because you are definitely one of those people too. Don't let anybody push you away from who you truly are. Your first question is, will your ex leave you alone? You may have actually taught this person a lot. There was the first thing that popped in my mind, and one of the people in particular that popped in my mind throughout a lot of what I was just saying was an ex that the last time I seen them, they walked up to me and they said, you know, I really do love you a lot. I have a lot of love for you. And I was like, I know you do. And for some unknown, godforsaken fucking reason, I love you too. It's the last thing I said to him probably about 8 months ago or so. They may just need to know that you love them. But just because you love somebody doesn't mean you can have them in your life. It doesn't mean that they've treated you good. It doesn't mean that they have dealt with you appropriately. And just because they love you doesn't mean they even know how to do those things. 44. I feel like you're extremely unique. And I feel like there could actually be an ex-friend of yours that you may be having some difficulties with, or that may have been involved in some way in this situation. There could actually be an ex-friend of yours that is doing some things that you may actually ex is doing as well, because you may be unsure of which person is doing something. And there's something in particular that you're thinking of right now that is an ex-friend and not your ex-person. Beauty and the Beast. You're very welcome too, beautiful. Is that resonating? You need some space in a relationship. Somebody could be 35 years old too. Or 35 could be a number that reminds you of a person for a particular reason. You need some space in a relationship. The number 8 could be very lucky for you right now too. Dragonfly Mermaid. You have attracted wonderful news. So there's some good news coming to you. It could even be in relation to this ex-partner. Maybe this person is finally ready to let sleeping dogs lie and to put the past behind you guys. Is ready to kind of grow up a little bit and make peace. They may be feeling very pushed to make peace in some sort of way. This could even be somebody that you dealt with like 3 years ago. And it could have been somebody that was a little bit younger than you. You might not be used to having a whole lot of people that are a few years younger than you around. That guy is so annoying right now with his stupid cutting these bushes. They haven't cut them in months, by the way, because they're so overgrown. Look how tiny this little door is over here. And now they're out here doing it the day that I'm doing my reading in the park. I love it. Anyway. And that door over there in that wall just made me think of Alice in Wonderland. I've seen it a couple times over the last couple days and was thinking, wow, that is really bad. I've really let this park go. It's not just them that let it go, though. All the homeless people that used to be staying in this area over here, me and a couple other people, we used to clean up the entire park, and look how dirty it is. There is trash everywhere in this park, everywhere, all over the place. I used to come over here regularly and pick up all the cigarette butts, and there's cigarette butts everywhere. You know what? You used to do a lot for this person. You did so much for this person. You helped this person, especially emotionally, in a lot of ways. You were extremely deep with this person. You were able to acknowledge their beast and so love them. You were able to see deeper than the surface and to dive into that. You were still wanting to move forward with them, even knowing the truth about a lot of different things that were going on. You were really a very amazing person in their life, but they didn't see that at the time. All they saw at the time was your looks. They saw your abundance, or they saw your prosperity, or they saw all the things that you could have materially, or maybe they were so focused on material things in their life that they thought that you just weren't good enough because you didn't have any of those things. And this person is really recognizing and realizing that mistake. They are also learning how to love themselves a bit more and take care of themselves a bit more. so they don't have to rely so fully on their partner to do so much for them, so that their partner doesn't get so burnt out and also doesn't end up feeling like they're taken for granted or like they don't matter. Yeah, this person feels like you were a very strong blessing in their life, that they were just too prideful and too egoic to even see. They may have had extreme selective hearing when it came to you as well, to where they really didn't hear a lot of what you were saying ever. They may not have even answered your phone calls or your messages. They may have just really felt like they didn't want to be around you or didn't want to hear what you had to say and things like that. And then once your voice was gone, and once your love was gone, and once your phone calls and your messages were gone, once you started behaving differently towards them, it was like a light all of a sudden appeared over their head, and it was like, whoa, what the fuck? But this was also after they finished blaming you. Once they were done being angry with you. Once they were done feeling like you betrayed them by leaving or whatever else was causing that. And all of these changes that are coming into play right now are allowing you an opportunity to make peace. So right now you are being tested by the universe to see if you have learned from the past, and if you're going to jump into pride, ego, and anger the moment this person wants to make peace with you, or if you're going to take this chance to make that peace. I understand exactly where you're coming from in accepting all those things too, because I've done a lot of that with people around me as well. And actually yesterday I was asking somebody, why are you still there? Why wouldn't you leave? You're basically keeping yourself in a prison. But I know why she isn't. Because I've done similar things myself. And it's also because, a lot of times that love is so important that we want to give it a chance before we do move away. But a lot of times moving away is the only way going to ever change. Or having that confrontation or that fight is the only way anything's going to change. 45. So there could also be somebody older than you as well that you've dealt with a lot that was the same way. I can understand that too. I know exactly how you feel on that one. Sometimes we don't have an option of whether or not those people are in our lives. Like say 55, like say you ended up having kids with somebody. They are in your life forever, whether you like it or not at that point, period, bottom line. And so being able to go through those lessons and learn those things, and being able to heal and bridge those gaps, and being able to find that peace and harmony at the end of the day is something that's extremely important in a lot of those situations. And I feel like it is extremely important in this situation as well. Because 3322, in my moments in dealing with those situations, looking back on them, hindsight is 2020. Once we look back on it again and we start to look in the mirror a little bit, there's a lot of times where we had parts too, because every situation has two parts. And there may have been things that we may have been doing because of our pain, or because of our boss, or because of feeling like we were being betrayed, or because of feeling like we were hurt so deeply by that person, that weren't necessarily the most high vibrational things we could have done, even if we wouldn't change how we did them, even if those things needed to happen, or even if, it doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes we can still see the hurtful or harmful causing actions that we've had too, when we look back on it later. I agree completely. I don't wish it on anybody either. But just know that what people put out to us, they end up experiencing too. They really do. Sometimes they end up experiencing it after they've done it, and sometimes they end up experiencing it before they've done it. And then they get a wake-up call when they do it, and it stops the judgment of others for doing it. So, that's what I got for that. And what makes you guys so beautiful? We're going back to the positive things here about what makes us so beautiful. Your makeup and hair is always on point. You are very good at designing, whether it be a house, fashion, or advertising. You are very creative, a genius in how you see things and put them together. This ties in with everything else we've had so far. You're very forward thinking and you have a lot of forward momentum. You're also able to really focus on what you have going on in front of you, even when there's a lot of tempting offers around you, or even when there's a lot of things that you would really like to focus all of your attention on. You know that you need to make sure you balance things when it comes to where your attention is being prioritized. Has healthy boundaries and doesn't cross the boundaries of others either. Speaks their mind and is authentic to their heart. They believe in the good in all and the bad in all. So, you definitely are somebody that believes in the good in people. Even when you've seen their darkest side, you know that the darker the shadow, the brighter the light. Period. That's the way it works. If there is a blinding light, then that blinding light has a void of a black hole behind it. Because that blinding light has been through that black hole, which taught them to be that black hole. And they had to fight their way out of that black hole to find that light again. And you can't see the light without the dark, and you can't see the dark without the light either. Neither of those things exist without the other. So each and every one of us has those things within us. Which also reminds us as well, when we're looking at our beauty and our light and how amazing we are, the more amazing we think we are, the more dark our shadow is too. DN. What do you mean by DN? Cambria. Reflections. You know what? There was a guy in the past. He was so fucking amazingly beautiful in so many ways. Fun. Amazing. He's kind of a tower bringer like myself. Those are needed in this world. Because when a foundation crumbles, it can rebuild itself. And sometimes you feel really upset being that type of person, because it seems like everywhere you go, everything falls apart. Or you can look at the good side of that. Everywhere you go, everything rebuilds and gets better. Like the fact that I'm sitting in this stupid park today, and now all of a sudden there's people caring about it. And doing something with the mess that it is. Or I can get upset at the fact that there's so much fucking noise out here. God. Or I can do both, because honestly, there's a bit of both. And that's where you look at that and realize that there is dark and light. There's both. If you stick either one of those in a box and put it away somewhere, it's unhealthy. And it's not good for you, and it's not good for anybody around you. Because toxic positivity is just as bad as toxic negativity. Not one person on this planet is perfect or above anybody else. We are all just here being human and experiencing this human life. So anyway, at the time, it had been about 8 months since I left my ex-husband of 10 years. And I hadn't done anything with anyone. And this guy's around, really fun-loving, energetic. Just, when we'd be driving past kids, he'd like lean out the window and be like, "What are you doing?" Or something like that, all in good fun. Laugh with him afterwards. It wasn't like anything rude. There was a time where he put on rainbow handcuffs and a unicorn horn and furry leg cuffs at the dollar store and was like hopping around as a handcuffed rainbow unicorn. And I knew he wasn't feeling the same way about me as I was him. But I was enjoying what was there while it was there, you know? I also told him, though, that if he had gotten in a relationship, he needed to let me know about it because I didn't want to be there doing that then. And I knew he was doing what he was doing with other people. I was busy focusing on what I was focusing on, too. But he was pretty much my best friend at that point in time. We had a lot of fun. One of the other women that he was doing what he was doing with had a baby. And I got to babysit her baby a few times. And we kind of became friends as well. I mean, we can live that way, or we can be pissed off, upset, and in competition all the fucking time with everyone around us, you know? And I feel like that's one of the things people would compliment you on, is that you're very good at rising above, and you're very good at working with people. Even when there's issues going on in your life or in your lives together, you're still able to find peace and work together in a good way to create positivity and abundance in your lives. Hi, Tori. It's so nice to see you, beautiful. Sorry I've been gone so long, guys. Everything's been fucking crazy as fuck over here. And the universe was like, yeah, and you needed some time to heal too, so we forced you. But now I'm ready to get back at it again, and everything's gonna get fixed. Exactly, Moonlightic. It's you know, Moonlight, I see. Seeing the light in the dark is great. It's a great way to be. It's a great way to be able to go, wow, that hole my dog just dug really sucks. And at the same time, my dog was having fun. But, you know, realistically, I don't want that hole there, so I'm going to have to fill it back up. But I can fill it back up. And to try not to get lost in the moment and the anger of the moment and lose it on your animal, hurting them, because, you know, it's just one more thing on your list that you got to do or something like that, you know? It's really good to also, when you see somebody that is such a light in the world like that guy was, you know, to be able to see their shadow side as well. To be able to see that, yeah, they were pretty honest about everything, as long as you were okay with those certain things. And lies by omission is lies too, when they know they should have told you, even if you never asked. Very fair and truthful. A beautiful person with a beautiful heart always tries their best and admits when they're wrong. They say they're sorry and they mean it. They always follow through with their actions. So when you apologize to somebody about something, the only time that you apologize about something, 44 and 404, is when you know that you've made an error. When you know that you have messed up in some way. And from that moment on, you actually do level up. And you try to shift things and move things around and really change the behaviors that you've been making. Because you really do want to improve on those things that you see inside yourself that hurt others. But you also won't apologize unless you feel like there is something that you've done as well. Which also, sometimes, to other people, can come off as prideful or something like that. Because they're seeing you as having done something that has hurt them, even if you aren't seeing that. And that's where we can pick up on not just the light, but the dark too. That sounds pretty cool. Having that as your slogan. Or like your brand. For some reason, clothing came into mind when I was saying that. Or like something with sewing. In the darkness, there's always a light that you can find too. When you're looking at somebody that you feel like is completely and totally evil, cruel, hurtful, vindictive, or you feel like they're doing everything that they're doing on purpose and it's all just to fuck with you in your life, it's a good idea to take a pause and to take a breath and to try to shift your perspective a little bit. To try to remember that this person has good qualities too. There was a guy last year that, there's some pretty narcissistic things about him. And at the same time, that's the only person that was as equal give and take as he was, like really equal give and take. Like, he'd cook dinner and then I'd cook dinner. And on the nights that I cooked dinner, he'd do the dishes. And on the nights he'd cook dinner, he'd do the dishes. And we went back and forth like that. And we both gave each other the space that we needed when we needed the space, and we both cleaned up the mess around the house, and that person was an alcoholic, by the way, too. An alcoholic to the point that even with drinking about 8 to 12 beers a day, he was violently shaking. But he was a very functional alcoholic. And he was very kind to me, anyway. He was not that way to the rest of the world, but he was very kind to me. Like I was talking about earlier in the reading, there's a lot of people that aren't taught certain things. And when you go into somebody's life and you hold those boundaries firm, and you don't allow yourself to be treated disrespectfully or stepped on, then people have a tendency to treat you the way that you expect to be treated if they want you in their life. Of course, they do have a tendency to do what they need to do to use you as well. But those qualities that they express are within them, even if they don't live in them all the time. And sometimes you being that person that came into their life like that and then leaving their life because of whatever happened helps them to open their eyes and see things more clearly around themselves, see what they need to do to work on themselves within, to be able to have that in their life again, because they end up missing that, because they see those good things in you too. And I really feel like you're somebody who really strives to see the beauty in things, but has learned how to see some of the dark things that you may have not seen before with the rose-colored glasses. 33. Your ideas are the best ones that I've heard, and you give them away like it's nothing. Never mind sharing your perspectives and your stories. You're an amazing storyteller too. So, people love your ideas. They love your thoughts. They love what you have going on in your mind. They love to listen to you speak. They really feel like it's beautiful the way that you can put things together. You're always on the go. You are filled with so much life and vitality. You set the world on fire with your energy. You bring transformations wherever you go. People love your energy and your presence. So people love your energy. They love your presence. They love the way that you treat them, the way that you deal with them and interact with them. And they love the fact that you're so motivated, so driven, and that you're doing so many different things, that you've got a lot going on, that all your focus isn't directed at them every second of the day to where they feel suffocated. And vice versa. I feel like you really enjoy that in a partner too, to where it doesn't feel like you're stuck in a prison in some way or stuck having to modify yourself in some way so that they aren't lashing out at you in some way. I can completely understand that, but once they get to the point where they mourn your absence, that's also when they value your presence. They value your presence now. Now that they're mourning your absence, they're like, oh my God, I love their presence. But you're not seeing that because you're still upset over the pain they caused you. When that guy did what he did and started a relationship and did not tell me, and I broke it off with him because I knew that he had, kind of like this last guy, I knew that he had lied to me about the circumstances of what was going on in our situation. And so I broke it off and was done. Nope, sorry, not doing that no more. Because I knew whether or not he had told me, whether or not anything else was going on, I knew what was going on. And in that case, I broke it off. Because that is one of those things that is, nope, that's not happening. And so in doing so, it basically ended up with me screenshotting the lies he was telling and sending them to her because he had lied to her, he had lied to me, and I exposed it. But she was pissed off at me for exposing it, and she was pissed off about finding out about it, and she wasn't pissed at him. And they were together for a good 6 months after that. And trust me, she was his karma. Because he did not touch alcohol at all. He smoked weed, but he didn't touch alcohol at all. And when he went to go live with her, she didn't like weed at all, and she drank all the time, so he drank all the time instead. And he got a big pot belly, and he got really depressed, and he was being fairly abused by her, honestly. All the light in him drained out. I watched it. I watched that beautiful glow leave his eyes, and the joy and the happiness and that bright shiny energy he brought to the world disappeared. Because yeah, he was hurt as much as he had hurt me. And every time I walked into a space where he was at, I could fucking feel him. From 10,000 miles away, you could fucking feel that energy. And I'd look over, and sure enough, it's him, and the look in his eyes was so sad. So filled with pain and shame and regret. He looked like a 3-year-old child that had completely broken, destroyed his mother's favorite, whatever was her favorite thing. And there was no way he could ever repair it. And instead of going up to him and hugging him and putting the friendship first, I walked by him like I didn't even see him. And I hurt him even more. And sometimes, yeah, they do need to feel that. And sometimes, yeah, we are bringing that karma ourselves. But sometimes looking back on it, it's like, okay, next time in the future, I'm going to make sure that I give it the chance at least to apologize if I do something like that. And let them know that the friendship is what matters. And as long as they want to put the friendship first too, we can still have that friendship. Because sometimes they do actually learn their lesson and want to do the right things, and sometimes they don't. But sometimes we get so hurt by somebody that doesn't, that when somebody that might have been able to comes along, we lose that opportunity. Charismatic, confident, and versatile, flexible and adaptable, can face any challenge, makes an amazing leader, is good with communication and with leading others. But that's also why we shouldn't feel stupid or naive or anything else like that when it comes to giving another chance in situations. Because that's what love is too. Love is being patient. Love is, forgiving people for their mistakes. And being able to understand that sometimes things happen, and being able to give it another go, and being able to come back to peace and harmony. 5522, learning, growing, understanding, and overcoming those differences. And also realizing that just because we felt alone didn't mean we were, or just because they didn't mean they were. And sometimes when people feel alone or hurt or down or out in the cold or attacked, they can act fucking stupid. 5544. You know your value and your worth. You're almost never insecure or jealous. So you're almost never insecure or jealous. You know who you are. You know what you want. And you know what you're going to put up with and what you're not going to put up with. And that's another thing people find to be very beautiful about you as well. This person relieves anxiety, tension, anger, or pain. They bring calm energy, strong support. They are such a beacon of hope and support for others around them. Hi, sweetheart. Always understanding and empathetic. Hyper-aware and tuned in. Works well with others and always gives a helping hand. A rare beauty to behold. Doesn't like gossip either. So, the things that people find beautiful about you is that you are somebody who likes to stay out of the drama or the rumor mill. You're also somebody that really eases anxiety. You bring a lot of that soothing energy like we were talking about at the beginning of this. And you really support people when it comes to things they have going on or things that they're doing in their life. You're definitely somebody that is there to cheer them on. The fairy bee. My life is a loyal guardian. A magical protector is there for you. So, people definitely feel like with you as their friend, they have somebody that would protect them, somebody that would be loyal to them, somebody that really cares. You are also, once again, somebody that cares for those that are weaker than others, those that are more vulnerable than others, or those that can't care for themselves in some way. And the fact that you're able to see beauty around you everywhere you look is something that people find to be very beautiful as well. Because as you see that beauty around you, it's reflected within you as well. The color of your eyes could be something that people find to be very beautiful too, or just the way that you look at them. The amount of emotion that is in your eyes when you are looking at people. So, for your fun question, who you are in the spirit realm. The Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Chalices, the Three of Chalices, Once Upon a Midnight Dreary, Edgar Allan Poe, Kitsune, The Last Lenore. So, you are someone that long after you leave someone's life, they still think about you. They still wonder about you, pine after you. They're kind of haunted by you in a way. You are definitely an energy that can haunt people at times, especially if they feel responsible in some way for why you're gone or for something that has happened to you. You are someone that inspires commitment. And you also bring a lot of opportunities to people. You're somebody that is very filled with self-love to the point that it's overflowing out of you onto the world around you. You enjoy life. And you make a really good friend as well. I will show you whom to trust. Creativity, genius, writing, expression, artistic flow. So, you're very poetic. You're very romantic. And you enjoy doing things your own way. There are definitely a lot of people that would like to date you, or that would like to spend a lifetime with you. Life partner material, for sure. You're also very sneaky in a way, very intelligent. You like to have fun. You may be very witty with your comebacks. You could probably tell a very good joke as well. A lot of your time is spent on growth, especially emotional growth. And you know that taking time for fun in between all of that is something that's very important for you as well, especially if you want to be able to express yourself to the best of your ability. You're also somebody who takes and turns all the pain that you've had in your life into something meaningful and something that can make a difference in the world around you. You're a good friend and someone that others can really count on. You're very responsible and down to earth. You bring grounded energy with you wherever you go. So you're somebody very patient and very kind. I feel like you're really good at giving advice as well. And you're somebody that really likes to take care of the people around you. And the reason you're able to do such a good job of taking care of the people around you is because you put in that time, that effort, and that energy into taking care of yourself as well. So you also have very good boundaries when it comes to people. To where if you're feeling like you're being drained, or you're feeling like you need some time and space away, you're also able to kind of realize that that has more to do with you than it does to do with the people around you. And so you do the things that you need to do to get yourself back into a better energy again, instead of spending your time shifting that blame onto other people. It also took a lot of work to get to that level. So that's something that people really do appreciate about you as well. You're very good with communication. And the communication that you have within you is very golden. It really does make a difference and make a change in people's lives. You're extremely confident with that communication as well. There's actually 2 crows in that card that I never noticed before, and there was 2 crows this morning that were hanging out above me. When you see 2 crows, it is an omen of something good to come. You're very protected spiritually. You're definitely somebody that, if you need it, you're provided for in the ways that you need. And you celebrate those ways that you were provided for. You're very grateful and very thankful for what you have in your life and what comes to you when you need it. Probably because you know exactly what it's like to go without as well. That is awesome. You're also somebody that really brings out a lot of that creative energy in others too. And I feel like when you create things, you probably are not so worried about whether or not others add to it or whether or not others shift it or change it. Like a lot of the singers these days are like borrowing from each other and sharing with each other and creating new things out of each other's work. And a lot of that was spawned because of the ridiculous level it was getting to when people were suing each other over their creative ideas and stuff like that. The biggest one that comes to mind is like when Ed Sheeran got sued by the people who own the rights to Marvin Gaye's music because his one song had the same melody as Let's Get It On, when honestly it was so far from that melody that it's ridiculous to even think that they were suing him for that. Because that could even have possibly just been a subconscious inspiration for that song at that point, because really, it does not sound like that song at all. And I feel like you're somebody who likes to share the creativity that you have within you. And you also like to be around those other people that like to share theirs as well, so that you guys can build off of each other and grow new things from that, because that's where all art comes from anyway. I can completely understand that as well. I can understand where it comes from, and I can understand why people would hold back and why they would hold on so tightly to what they have. It comes from that feeling of lack and that feeling of, if others take from you, you won't have anymore. There won't be anymore. And that comes with, everybody ends up facing that on your path as well. The temptation to give in to that greed, and the temptation to believe in the fear instead of allowing yourself to believe in the love and give in to the love that you feel instead. And everyone at some point does give it into it in some way, because nobody's perfect. So that's what I have for today's reading, guys, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for whatever support you send this way, whether it be liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, leaving timestamps, donations, hitting the little super thanks button. Anything you guys do to support my channel really helps me out, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you guys for that, and I hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, whatever it is, wherever you are when you're watching. Bye-bye, guys.